In this episode, we're talking about the October 2025 Steam Next Fest, and probably nothing else, on Indie Game Arcade. Welcome back to Indie Game Arcade, a podcast that deep dives into the latest and greatest indie games. I'm your cozy, story-rich puzzle sleuth, Chris.
And I'm your loot-hungry glutton for punishment, Joseph.
That's pretty good. Loot-hungry glutton for punishment. That's good, because, I kept thinking of you as, a little bit of a, roguelike masochist earlier in the day, too. So, yeah, that fits perfectly. Well done,
think
sir.
So. It matches my what appeals to me most about games. It has to be, punishing, but fair. But I also really love loot. Give me all the loot. You love to be punished, but rewarded for your punishments. So. Absolutely. If you overcome something, you should be rewarded.
Yeah. Especially if it's the most extreme punishment you can imagine. Hey, real quick, just a little housekeeping. If you've been listening to the show for a little bit and you enjoy the show and want to help us out a little bit in exchange for us giving you the lowdown on new indie games every week, you can do so by leaving us a review on whatever app you're listening from. That can really go a long way in helping discoverability for us. So big thanks to those who have already left reviews on Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, and all the other places. You guys are rock stars. We love you. Thank you so much for that. It's really easy. Just, I don't know, say Joseph sounds really, he sounds handsome. You can even just leave that as your comment. It doesn't matter. But give us a review. It'll help us out. Appreciate it. Hey, do you sound handsome? Yeah, you do sound handsome. All right. That's fair.
Don't know.
I guess it's not a lie.
I hear myself all the time, but I don't like to listen to myself on podcasts anymore. No, I never liked it. I just had to because I was editing before.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah.
Now that I'm the editor, you are scot-free. But now I got to listen to my stupid voice multiple times a week.
And you get to listen to me twice over while I'm doing it and then after the fact.
Boo.
We need to hire an editor again. Those were good times.
I know. Where did Jack go from our old podcast?
I don't know. He disappeared.
We're going to find
heard
Jack.
from him in a long time.
Yeah. I talk to him every once in a while. He's a very busy boy. Hey, happy Next Fest. Do you feel like, I feel like we've been here before. I feel like we've had a whole lot of Next Fests this year. It's almost like they do one every quarter. Huh.
Yeah, I don't, is that true? I honestly don't know.
Is.
Is it a quarterly thing? Next quarter we're going to have one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even realize it. When did these start coming? Was this a this year thing, or have they been doing these? Because I
think they've been doing it. I think we just didn't realize it because we started the show very, very late last year. This time last year is when we started doing the show. So we didn't really notice it for a while, and now
I guess it blended in with all the other deals and things going on, and I just never associated it with anything. Yeah, but now I hear Next Fest all the time, and it seems like one just ended and then another has begun.
Yeah, I do feel like we just finished the Next Fest during the summer. So, but it's not true. It's been a few months. It's been at least 3.
The real bonus of those, though, is that under normal circumstances, I don't like to play demos or early access games, but Next Fest is where it's okay, this is my excuse to try something out and have things to look forward to. And I always come away with at least 2 or 3 games that I'm I can't wait till this comes out. I'm not going to play any more of the demo because I don't want to spoil myself on it or burn myself out on it, but I've got it on my wish list already. And there's a couple of games I'll talk about today that I've already added to my wish list, and I'm really excited about them coming out, actually.
Yeah, and I do like that it preps you to kind of know what's going to be coming down the pipeline, especially this late in the year, like the Next Fest for October. Most of these are going to be coming out in 2026. So it just kind of gives us a heads up of okay, so now we know certain games to look out for while we're planning episodes for next year. So I do appreciate that aspect of it. Plus, it just introduces us to a lot more indie devs and stuff that we haven't heard of before. So, like, I was introduced to a ton this next fest that I've actually gotten to have a few conversations with. Specifically, one was Rogue Duck Interactive, and I'll tell you about them in a little bit. They were just commenting on our stuff too. Actually, we've had a few of that. We also had the dev from Antenna Games leave us a comment a little bit ago too, who is the one that made Lake of Creatures, which that we did that was episode 11 when we covered that. And for whatever reason, you crazy people out there listening to this, you are blowing up that TikTok about Lake of Creatures. It was sitting at only just a few watches, and now it's up to 7,000 in the last 2 days. Out of nowhere, got that guy's attention. He's just like, "Oh, hey, what's up, guys?" So now it's just like everyone is talking about it again, and he's got a new game coming out, which is really awesome. And we've already been talking to him about it, and he sent us a key for it. So hopefully we'll play that soon and bring that forward to the show and talk more about it. But
what's really cool wild about that, like, you would think that Lake of Creatures would be like overwhelmingly positive with thousands of reviews with that, but right now it has 77 total reviews. It's very positive. But it's just not getting the attention it deserved. I really enjoyed that game. How many hours? I've spent at least 10 hours in that game. Wow. And there's so much more for me to do. I'm going to go back to that game soon.
You should. It's a good one. But save room for his new one, because we got to hop into the new one.
I know.
Hey, but let's talk about some of the stuff that we did play for Next Fest. There's one game that I do want to say that I completely stayed away from, because it is part of the Rusty Lake series. You know I love those Rusty Lake games. There's like 16 of them out there that I've already played. The new one, they dropped the demo for Next Fest. I don't want a single spoiler. I need to jump into that thing like when it comes, like 1.0. So I stayed away from it, even though it was very tantalizing and I wanted to. But
that's how I feel about most demos. I just don't want to spoil these things for myself.
Yeah. Let's start with you, because I think you played more than me. But like, we have to do something we have never done before in this show, which is we have to not be super long-winded on everything, which is something we're terrible at. But
yeah,
let's do our best.
There are only two that I really want to spend much time like expounding on a little bit.
Okay.
The others I can just kind of mention, and it's not that they were bad. They just didn't like stick out as much as the two of them did. So I'll just like say a couple kind of in the order that I played them. So Skull Horde was the first one that I had played.
Yeah, I saw that too. I almost hopped into that one, but I figured you might, and then you did tell me you played it. So
yeah, I was a little, nervous about it, because when you see the skull on the cover,
yeah, it looked AI, didn't it?
Looks very AI. I looked for the tag, though. I did not see an AI tag. So I'm saying that ahead of time. If this developer is being honest about that and not using AI for anything, then cool. And I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but that's just what my first thought was. Which is why I was nervous to play it. I was apprehensive, but I did play it and I really enjoyed it. So what that is, or at least what I had experienced of it so far, I don't know how much more there's going to be like to it in the full version, but what you do is you're playing as like this flying skull necromancer in an auto battler dungeon crawler, and you're just summoning skeletons and looting like powerful gear and the trinkets you can equip. And then there are procedurally generated dungeons, as far as I know, while you're just kind of like traversing through while building up your horde. As you level up, essentially, you're just like powering up the undead, the skeletons that you have with you. And there are some archer ones, and there are some like caster ones, and then some like warrior ones. And it's just kind of like, if like surface level, like I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a brief experience. How much time did I spend on that? I don't know. Not very much, it felt like. But if they in the full version end up having like a lot more options as far as like skeletons you can like recruit go, or just as far as like I get to choose different characters, not just this one flying skull the whole time. And I think there
Yeah.
really is like a lot of opportunity there for some cool experiences and like I don't know, like a really fun Horde Survivor type game or action roguelike game rather, or I guess
Yeah.
both. But yeah, so that one was fine. I didn't dislike it. The only part that I was apprehensive about was the cover art, but the game ran fine. It was fun. Had a good time.
Yeah, and we're just mentioning the capsule art for like the Steam page. Like there's nothing else, like nothing actually in the game that
No.
we're referencing.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like I've just seen that skull before.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Isn't there, it also has way too many teeth, like on the bottom. Now that I'm looking at it, that's way too many teeth, which also makes me, think I'm like, wait, it just keeps reminding me because you're just a skull. What is that? Isn't there like an old, really terrible horror movie? I know I watched it like earlier in the year. I can't remember. Is it just like the Screaming Skull or something, or the Skull Who Screams, or do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that sounds like a William Castle movie.
MST3K did an episode on it because I've seen that too. So, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
So he did not. I just looked it up. I guess he did not direct it, but the film borrowed a marketing gimmick from him, which was a disclaimer at the beginning that promised a free burial service to anyone who died of fright while watching it.
That's classy.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. All right. Very good.
So cool. Inspired by, but not directed by.
Yeah. Do you want me to do one? You want to just do it back and forth?
Yeah. We'll take turns. Okay. Go ahead.
You talked about a skull. I'm going to talk about something real cozy and cute. Just to throw things up. I played Vending Machine Co., which was developed by Rogue Duck Interactive. Those are the ones I was talking about that I got to talk to over our through YouTube comments and a few other places too. But this is a cozy, kawaii vending machine management sim where you are starting your little vending machine empire across this like Japanese inspired city. What you do is you start out renting one machine, picking a district. There's like different districts on this map. You just choose one. I chose to start in Otaku Alley because obvious. And there's like specific things that will appeal to the people there. So like most of the people in Otaku Alley were like children and nerds, like otakus. So It's like you are choosing what you want to stock in your vending machines. So you're choosing things that are going to appeal to those. So I was going for like, lots of toys and stuff. And I tried some energy drinks and things like that. However, like when you go to the market to purchase stuff, there will be some things that are labeled as like hot items per that specific district. So those you're like, oh, okay, I know those will sell. But like everything else, you just have to kind of like try it and see what sells. And like some things will and some things like just won't. And then you'll have like a backstock that you have to keep in your little warehouse at your literal own home. You have like a garage that you put the backstock and everything in. But anyway, as you like make profits and stuff, you can set up more machines and other districts, which will have completely different needs. There are seasons, which will also affect what sells. Cause like in wintertime, people are going to like crave more hot foods and hot beverages. But you also will have to start getting like upgrades for your machines. Because if you want to sell a hot beverage, you have to install like a heater to keep your stuff hot into that machine. Or if you want to sell like a cold beverage or something, dairy or something like milk, then you need like a cooling system. Or you might find that your vending machine gets vandalized overnight by the Yakuza. And so you want to install a security camera so they stop vandalizing your machine, because then you got to spend money to repair it. So it's just kind of like a silly and just really fun, cozy, relaxing sim with like that sort of like incremental value sort of satisfaction, like of seeing number go up, bring great joy. making like money and then, you know, doing all these things and making more money and then spreading that across the thing, across the city. Plus, it's got a really chill soundtrack, lovely atmosphere. Like it looks gorgeous. Like it's like really vibrant pastels and everything. And it's just really fun. I had a good time with it. I did a Let's Play of my first hour trying it out where you can see how terrible I was because I spent way too much money right away and also bought a lot of drinks that I thought would sell and they didn't. So yeah, that didn't work out in my favor, but I really, really enjoyed it and definitely am going to be playing more of it just in my spare time on my Steam Deck because I really liked it.
If you are a fan of that game, or if anyone listening is a fan of that kind of game, then it looks like Rogue Duck Interactive has a style in a lot of the games they release. Because I see Cats and Cups, where you are a cat person running a coffee shop. I see Replay Value, where you're running a secondhand game store from scratch. And then Carefully Stamped, where you're crafting and selling charming postcards, which all kind of feel like the same style of like management game, like management sim game, which is interesting if you're like into that kind of thing for sure. I'll bet because they're definitely cute.
Yeah, and this is the first game I've really played kind of like that. But like I've heard really good things about some of their other games.
It also kind of reminds me of oh god. What was that one where you have to like repair ships as they come in and you're like a dog person, like spaceships?
No.
You played it and I didn't.
Oh, yeah. Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop.
Yeah. That one.
Yes.
That's what visually it reminded me of that. I'm sure it's like a way more chill game than that one is, but visually that's what I thought when I saw it. Except like this is like a little bit, well, not a little bit, a lot cuter, a lot more kawaii.
They also helped publish a couple roguelike deck builders that I'm a big fan of.
One that I have, actually. Yeah,
there's a few. Dyson Fold.
Dyson Fold, yep.
Boogie Hunters, or Bogey Hunters. Or it is Boogie
that
Hunters.
One?
And then also Pairs and Perils, which is one that I've got and really, really like. That's one I really want you to try sometime. Because it's like a memory kind of matching deck builder.
My memory is horrible. Why would you do that?
Well, here's the thing. Mine is really bad too, but because I know yours is bad, I think it's like one of those things that will like help you a little bit because it started like, I started feeling better. Like I felt like my memory was getting better the more I played this game.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was like, oh, I really want Justin to try this one. I think you'd like it.
Okay. Yeah. It seems like I would try anything from this publisher.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute.
Cool. The next one I wanted to bring up was Shard Squad. This one
not Shard Squad.
No. Yeah, definitely don't mistake the two. Take Pokemon or any kind of like creature capturing game and turn it into a action roguelike a Horde Survivor action roguelike.
Whoa,
like it's Vampire Survivors mixed with a creature taming, but it's not like, I kind of take that back because it's not really creature taming so much. You are the creatures, but like they are styled in a way that it's like resembles Pokemon to me in the sense that they are like have their elements. They do certain things. I only chose I picked like the basic, just like raccoon guy who's on the like cover art. And I was able to beat a run with him. And I think it was like 1 or 2 levels total, just the demo of it anyway. But it was really interesting. And it got pretty intense as I was going through it. One of the highlights of it was that you are recruiting other, like you're getting your different skills as you level up, just like with any roguelike. But you're also recruiting other like animals to assist you, other elemental animals that come out and like assist over, they're kind of like powers in a way, like every 10 seconds, like they'll come out, one of them will come out and then it'll do their little ability and you can power them up in the same way that you do your regular abilities too. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like you can expand their reach or their damage or et cetera, et cetera. So it's like having almost a pre-built party that you're forming. And I just thought that was a really interesting take on it. It didn't feel like overly like unique in any particular way, but that aspect of it at least like really stood out to me. And so it's one I would definitely try more of as they develop it. It looks like that the demo's been out for about a year, so I don't know that like the next fest or that like the demo I played was like expanded on any more than it was before.
Sure.
But either way, I had a good time with it and would recommend giving it a shot if you like any kind of Horde Survivor games. And it actually comes out in November, so this one is going to come out next month.
That's cool. Like, yeah, it looks really good. Like, I'm really digging the art style and the artwork of it all. This has my attention for sure.
It seems there was a lot of variety to it as far as like the characters that you were choosing. Like even in the demo, like I could have picked like at least 10 different characters to start as. I just chose the one because I didn't want to spend like all my time on it. But yeah, really cool game. Fun Horde Survivor.
I'm loving the polar bears, like just kind of like balancing on the balls, like just kind of wheeling themselves around on those balls. I love that.
Oh,
that's cute.
Nice.
They're adorable. My next one that I've got is, and I'll preface this too. I would say aside from when I was talking about Vending Machine Co., Escape from Ever After is this next one. And this is the other one that I probably spent the most time in. This is a huge homage to the Paper Mario games in such a great way. It's a 2.5D JRPG just like those games, and you are playing as this storybook adventurer named Flint Buckler and a ragtag group of other storybook characters whose stories are essentially interrupted because of capitalism. This company,
of course,
called Ever After Incorporated, has taken over all the stories, all the storybooks, and turned the storybook world into corporate offices. So Flint needs to, he had to get a job with them because he had no alternative, and he has to work his way up through their good graces so he can take them out from the inside. But as part of that, his first assignment with this company is to locate one of their agents who's gone missing, which is Sherlock Holmes, which is, kind of funny that instead of being Sherlock Holmes solving a mystery, you are hunting for Sherlock Holmes who has disappeared. Anyway, Sherlock disappeared investigating a creepy seaside town, which is very much a version of the town of Innsmouth from Lovecraft, which, of course, made me extremely happy. There's so much Lovecraft stuff in this game. I was excited. So you're doing a lot of puzzle solving, some light fetch questing, and turn-based combat while looking for clues to find out what happened to Holmes in this demo. It's really super tongue-in-cheek humor, really cute and quirky, has some really interesting mechanics. You have 3 characters in your party at the beginning: Flint, this dragon named Tinder, and there's a wolf who was supposed to have been the big bad wolf from the 3 Little Pigs, but he's just like this cute little music-loving guy who's just always playing instruments. They all have different abilities, both in and out of combat. So like they all play very differently. And what I really like is how their abilities can really affect the gameplay and stuff. Like the enemies might have like weapons or something. And like if they have like a shield and when you get into like combat, the enemies will be placed instead of like, let's say like a grid or something like that. Or if you're thinking a side profile where you can choose which one to attack, like at any point. A lot of these times the enemies are like back to front. So the front one might have a shield and will shield any of his comrades behind him. So like you will have to take that shield out. So using Tinder, who is like a dragon and has flame breath, you want to use like Tinder first to set that shield on fire so it burns away. Then you can take him out. Or some enemies will like stack up on top of each other, but Wolfgang's got like this ability where he can play this song that sprouts this like vine from the ground and it will attack up in a straight line and like hit everybody on the way up. So there's just so many different like things within this that are like different than what I've seen in a lot of JRPGs, while still keeping like a lot of that like goofiness and cuteness and stuff that is synonymous with the idea of like the Paper Mario kind of series. And yeah, I had a really good time with this. I got all the way to the end of the demo and then like immediately got wiped out by this dude that did like 999 damage in one hit. And I was like, oh, okay, that's the end of the demo. I get it. So
Yep.
I'm very much looking forward to this one coming out. It's set for Q1 of 2026. But yeah, if you look at it, you're going to see that influence immediately and be like, this looks like it would have been something made by Nintendo right away.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And I assume that there's some kind of like button pressing that goes on with the attacks.
So there is timed hits on this. So there's timed hits. There's also timed defense. And it like also gives you that option too to toggle, and it'll tell you in the very beginning too, that you can toggle that on automatically so you don't have to time it, and you just automatically succeed those things. I mean, obviously, like, I don't want to do that because that makes it, like, incredibly easy, but I get that in the idea of, like, this is a game that if you have kids, this is a game that kids could play to, like, ease that frustration or something like that. If, like, the kids can't get that timing down or something like that, there you go. You've got this thing. And it gives like little kids the edge and stuff so that they can enjoy the same kind of games that you want to enjoy. And I just think that's really cool.
That feels like participation trophy kind of talk. And I don't know how I feel about it.
Hey, but like, I think of like my kid who's like, would be just starting games in the next like couple years. And like, she's definitely not going to be getting any timed hits anytime soon because she barely has those motor skills.
If you can get her to that level, she can become Fortnite Pro and then make millions. And then you can retire happily.
Yeah, I'm going to have her take out Ninja immediately. So take out Ninja, take out XQC.
Yeah. Whatever it takes.
Power up! Hey, if you're enjoying this episode so far, do us a favor and throw us a like, a follow, share the episode or the podcast with folks who love indie games so we can get more of these game recommendations out there and support indie game devs. We also have our YouTube channel at youtube.com/nerdsloth where you can catch us playing more indie games or check out our top 5 and top 10 series for even more indie game recommendations because we believe there's an indie game out there for everyone. Final round!
How many more do you have to talk about? Because I don't know.
I've got 2 more.
Okay, I'll do 2 more also then. So, okay, this will jump into ones that I really had a great time. Well, I mean, I had a good time with all of them, but these are the ones that like really stood out to me. That's what I'll say. So the first one, there was a big surprise, was Maiden. And if you look at that, you're going to be like, from the sound, I mean, it sounds cool already, but when you look at it, it's just like, oh, it's like, is it like waifu kind of thing? It's not like the Nun-Holy thing. It's like a gender bent version of Dante's Divine Comedy.
Inferno. Yeah.
Okay. Because literally, like, at least at the beginning, and maybe you can play as more characters. I don't know on the full release, but like you are Dante, but this is a maiden version of Dante, still named Dante though, and all the other characters have the same names. Like Virgil is the person you're following, also a maiden, and then there's Beatrice,
honestly,
which also
I'm digging
maiden,
it.
that makes sense. But the story part aside, like this thing was like so mechanically cool and had one of the most unique attack systems or like power systems that I had experienced in like a Horde Survivor game, because it the way that it distributes your attacks is through cards. And so you have 4 cards or 4 different like attacks you can get in total. And then each of those attacks can have 3 like sub cards under them. And that's where it starts to get like super interesting, because some of those cards can do crazy things like for a simple version of it's like, okay, this one card or this sub card adds like 1 extra projectile to my attack. And then it's like, okay, and you can level up each card 2 times to a total level of 3 for each of those sub cards. And so it's like, okay, by the end of it, I would be able to add 3 different projectiles to my attack. So it's like, cool, I'm doing 4 different attacks in this one attack right now. But then you can get other cards that are like, okay, I'm going to put this in the attack to the right, because what it says is all attacks to the left of this get an extra projectile attack or something. I'm just using projectile attack as like a simple one because that's like a really easy one to go with. But then it's like, okay, so now my attack that has the 3 on it already is getting an extra 1, 2, or 3 if it's leveled up all the way. So then that thing's doing like 6 different attacks. And it's just like those kind of stacking things just get so fascinating. And like in the second run of it, like I was able to beat the first level / first big boss, whatever. And it was because I just had so powerful of a move that I didn't really have to do much. Well, I mean, I still had to move around and dodge her attacks, but like I was just throwing out these explosive moon powers, and one alone does a lot of damage, but I had like 5 of them launching at once. And once they explode, they like cover the ground with all this like sparkly stuff that like if the enemy's in it will continuously damage them. And so it's like my screen was covered with these like moon sparkle things that were just destroying anything in their path and like really melted the boss. So if you think like Vampire Survivors, but with magical girls, like this is kind of what you're getting yourself into here. And,
I love that.
It could have easily been like a throwaway kind of idea, but this thing is like better than it has any right to be. Even though it looks like just another like Horde Survivor or deck builder thing, it has some really unique ideas and seems like it has a pretty cool story too, and is just challenging enough to where it's like, oh man, I really have to like step up or I'm gonna get destroyed. So yeah, I had a really great time with that. Instantly went on my wish list, and I am honestly looking forward to it more than I expected to.
I want this to be an anime. Like, hands down, this looks sick. The cutscene animation stuff they have, like for the trailer and everything, looks so good.
Your powers that you get, like your ultimate screen wipe powers, it has like an anime cutscene that it goes into. Like the first one that Dante gets is like Dante's Inferno is what it's called, and it's literally goes into this like thing of her like embracing this fire and then exploding, and it just is such like a long cutscene. You can skip it if you want to, but it's so cool just to watch it because it's like, man, this is like, it was treated with so much like respect, and again, better than it has any right to be or needed to be, honestly. But I'm glad that they surprised me in a good way.
And also, so I'm familiar with Astral Shift from the game that they put out previously. So I know it's called Little Goody Two Shoes. If I remember right, it was like somewhat of a horror adjacent kind of adventure that also has like maybe some visual novel things in there too, or like some dating sim stuff. But I do know that it's like really highly regarded. Yeah, overwhelmingly positive reviews. Actually, and this is interesting too. So they developed, but Square Enix published that one, which is really interesting. So yeah, this is a developer that knows what they're doing. Square Enix is not publishing Hell Maiden. This is like 100% straight up Astral Shift for both. So
yeah. So
very excited to see how this goes.
Indie side project, but man, yes, treated with so much care, and I think. Even if you think it's going to be like kind of corny or whatever, like give it a shot, and I'm sure that you'll come away like surprised by it.
Yeah,
or at the very least fascinated.
Yeah, this is going to make my wish list too because it just sounds fun.
It looks like it's coming out in early access soon, so it's going to be a while before the 1.0 comes out.
Yeah,
probably, but it'll be a nice gift to me when it finally does. I'm like, oh my god, it's Hell Maiden! It came out in a year or two.
It's time.
Whatever. Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you about a game I played that has cards and stuff. This is Scuffles and Scuffles. I almost said Shuffles and Scruffles because that's what I put in my notes. Shuffles and Scuffles. And thank you also to the devs who emailed us about it. But I'm sorry I never returned your email because I'm so behind. But because like I was browsing Next Fest and I was like, oh yeah, someone did email about this game, so I'm gonna check it out. And I am so glad I did. This is a papercraft looking roguelike deck builder with some really interesting strategy and tactics to it. So enemies approach you on a 3x3 grid. So depending on enemy type, you've got some time to figure out like what you want to do. But things will get harder because it's not always like one enemy approaching at a time. Sometimes it's 3, and they come in waves. So you might get 3 and then another 3 the next turn. So you can get overwhelmed really fast. And like most roguelikes, you do have like that pool of action points, and it's mana in this case that you can spend on to spend on your cards to play them. In this case, you have 4 points that you can use. However, most of the cards that you start with are between 2 and 4. So like you're very limited right away. And a lot of the cards that I started with too, some of them were like 6 or 8 or 10. And how that works, because you're probably like, well, why would you have that? You can't use that. You can apply those numbers to those cards and they will carry over into like subsequent turns. So let's say I can see like kind of in the back, there's going to be some 3 enemies approaching, like coming up in like the next few rounds or something. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be ready to deal with that. But here is a card that I have in my hand that takes like 10 mana to use. I'm definitely not going to be able to use it for a few turns, but if I start dumping some of my mana points into it now and just keep doing that over the next few turns, then by the time they get here and they're like up in my face, I use this one, which does like a good amount of damage across multiple tiles. Maybe I can take them all out and it's not going to like, end up wiping me and ending my turn.
That's super fascinating. Yeah, I like the way this looks, and I appreciate the card building aspect of it too. It seems like they have similar to that game that the released in early access. My card is better than yours or something.
My card's better than your card.
Yeah. Obviously, a much different like style of game, but just I only say that because of the card creation mechanic to it. But I also love how raw these look, because it's like literally
it's so good.
Looks like someone like putting tape on it and writing on the tape. And I just like that is super appealing, because even with that like very stylistic approach they have, it just looks like it's part of this world in a way that it I don't know. I love the look of it, because it feels very like something you're creating charming. in your attic or like with your friends or something, just like to have fun with.
Yeah. So one thing that you touched on too is like you do get opportunities to like buy more cards than your deck out, but also you can alter the cards, like literally change the words or the numbers on the cards completely to change the effects, how much damage they do, etc., which is really cool. That reminds me a little bit of Diceomancer, also a little bit of Wonder Stars, which, like, remember we were saying before, now that we've seen that word-based combat, I bet we're going to see some of that come back again. And yeah, we're definitely going to. I think Diceomancer started something too, where we're going to see a lot more manipulation of things like that.
God, that was such a good game.
Yeah, and so this game's all framed in a way where, from what I understand, you're trapped in like a time loop within like a 3-act play, and you're trying to figure out how to break the cycle and escape. So that's how the roguelike aspect kind of comes into it. Like if you fail, well, you just start over again because you're stuck in a time loop. Obviously, like we've said, it's super cute, quirky, but also like it can be pretty punishing as well. But I had a really, really good time with it. This is one that I thought that you would really enjoy, and I wanted to make sure that this got on your radar. And I promise, Sour Circuit Studios, I'm going to email you back. I swear to God I will. I'm not going to leave you hanging.
When is it coming out, though? To be announced?
TBA.
Oh, yeah. I need this game yesterday. It looks so good.
I'll tell them. I'll be like, hey, listen. Here's the deal. I'm only emailing you back because Joseph said he needs to know when this is coming out.
This is just right up my alley kind of game. I'm definitely looking for. It's already on my wish list now, so whenever it comes out, I will pick it up.
Yeah. All right, what you got?
The last game I want to talk about from Next Fest is the game that surprised me more than any game has in a long time. And when I say it, you're going to be like, what the hell? So,
please tell me it's a walking sim.
No.
Damn it.
That would be a much more innocent approach if it was.
I might get you
this
one of these
game. Winnie's Hole is the game.
Okay, now that is can we talk about this on the Winnie's hole?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what,
Like
what,
Winnie
what
the
kind
Pooh.
of hole? What kind of, okay.
So in this instance, the hole in reference is this gaping mouth that has appeared in his stomach because he has been taken over by an alien infestation, and he's essentially becoming the Thing.
Yeah, so I
yeah.
have seen something about, I saw something about this a long time ago, I think when it
So
first got
did I,
announced.
but I like just shrugged it off as like, oh, it's going to be like a dumb game because they're just like playing into the fact that it's like public domain or whatever now, and two, just like they're just trying to like gross people out with it or something like that. I thought that's what that was going to be, but I was so surprised by like how mechanically cool this was. And pretty challenging in certain ways. So it is.
So explain
like,
that, yeah.
Yeah, so it is a roguelike, but it's like it's like a side-scrolling thing, but you're not necessarily like controlling Winnie as you're going through it. You are controlling like the virus that is inside of him, and what you're doing is using blocks that are similar to like Tetris pieces. It's not like a Tetris type game of like line this up or whatever, but it's using like Tetris type blocks of like 3 squares or like the little L shape or whatever to fill in these areas of the brain that have these abilities on them. And so you're triggering your abilities by lining up your like cubes in a certain way to try to figure out like what you want to do on a certain turn. Like if I had just a little L shape and it's like, okay, I'm about to get hit really hard. So I need like a couple of these to be my defense if that's there, or like they're not attacking me this turn. So I need to just like go all out attack right now. So let me just make sure I try to prioritize that this turn by like adjusting my cube in a certain way. And as you're going through this, you're leveling up and getting like more grotesque as you go, but you're getting grotesque in like a customized way. Like, okay, now I have like a hook arm that does this certain thing and like steals health from my enemy. Now I have an extra mouth on there that makes all my attacks do 1 extra damage or something. And it's like you're visually seeing to get you're seeing yourself like evolve or devolve, however you want to consider it, as you're going through this and like fighting off your friends in the woods or whatever who are trying to stop you. There's this one honey badger who was like a monk, and he was like really trying to like bring Winnie back over to the side of good, trying to like talk peaceful to him. So you get 2 turns when he's still in his like robes and he's trying to convince you. And then like after like the second turn, if you keep hitting him, he like goes into a berserker rage. His like robe like explodes off of him, and he is just like red and like super muscular and scary looking. And he was pretty tough enemy, but like, yeah. So it's at its core, this is like a roguelike puzzle strategy hybrid kind of, but it's the layout of like how it's delivering all this. It just makes it like super fascinating. Between battles, you're kind of like further infesting your host, Winnie in this case, by using the blocks that you have available to like travel through his gut in a way. And what that's doing is like, that's where your sort of like different rooms are. If you want to think about like Hades, where it's like, okay, which room do I want to go to? These are all marked. It's like, okay, I see that I could maybe reach this room over here with the blocks that I have, or at least like direct it close enough to that room that it will like go to that room, because I want to do the shop, or I want to power up a certain ability or get a talent or something. And so it's like navigating that mini game sort of thing is like you're in between battle stuff. And that's what also takes you to the next battle, is like whatever orifice you're entering as the virus traverses through a system. It's weird, and it's like hard to explain like why it just feels so good, but it's like bizarrely charming, and it's got like this like really squishy kind of wet sound design It really works for it.
Oh, man.
I didn't give this game enough credit. I assumed it would definitely be a throwaway game, but now it's fascinated me more than any other game has, at least out of the ones that I played for Next Fest. That is just shocking to me. So I had to bring it up, and I really have to highlight how good this game is, how much better this game is than I would have ever expected it to be.
My wife, Rochelle, would hate this so much. Winnie the Pooh is sacred to her. So she's going to be appalled when I tell her about this, because I will. I'm gonna make sure she sees this.
Please show her a screenshot, especially when he's all like,
no, I'm gonna tell her to play this demo. I'm gonna be like, oh, there's this really cute Winnie the Pooh game that Joseph found that we can try. So I'll show her that. Well, Twice Different is the developer, and they were also the developer of Ring of Pain, which was a really good roguelike game as well. So I'm not very surprised that they, created something that has really solid gameplay. I am surprised that this is the one, because I had no idea that they were the ones behind this, but now it makes a lot more sense. But what a weird, concept to go with. Holy crap.
Yeah. I just such a fascinating approach to it. And I was able to beat the demo, but just the promise of much more to come and a lot more mutations, and you almost have like classes of virus that you're playing as each run too. Yeah. It's just cool, man. I just really liked it.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about my final one here, which is War of the Western Deep. This is a bit of a genre combining game where it's a little bit of visual novel, a little bit point and click, but it also does have some stamina-based combat to it as well, which, I don't think I've ever seen happen in a point-and-click game before. The main tag also is choose your own adventure, so I'm assuming you'll get to have a lot of choice in what you do and what happens through the main story and everything. That wasn't totally evident in the demo, because the demo was very short. But the big draw here is the story and the animation style. This is set in an anthropomorphic world that looks like it could easily coincide with Disney's Robin Hood, similar era, 100%. similar look. But this does skew more adult for sure, just in that there is a lot of death, political intrigue, and there's a little bit of horror in some spots too. But also, you're going to see some blood and stuff as well. So you were playing this squirrel lady named Mirren, who is a courier that hasn't really had a job in a long time. But for whatever reason, someone comes to her, like a king's guard comes to her and basically says, hey, I don't know why, but the king wants you to deliver this very, very important message on this very dangerous mission. So she has to go on this dangerous mission to get this letter through to a neighboring kingdom that is kind of on the brink of war. And she starts discovering some potentially deadly secrets along the way. During the journey, you will be completing different quests and making lots of choices that will improve your health, your stamina, your weapon skills, do some environmental puzzle solving, lots of exploration, clue discovery. Again, there is some combat that is stamina based for dodging and attacking. It's also fully voice acted, with Mirren being voiced by Samantha Baert, who was the voice actor for Harlack in Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, and then the story itself was written by Alex Kane, who's worked on a lot of really good games like Dust and Elysian Tales, Salt and Sanctuary, Salt and Sacrifice, Tooth and Tail, Guild Wars 2. Yeah, so, and I mean, obviously, too, they've got some top-notch animators in this thing, too. Because, as much as, you see, the screenshots and stuff and how it looks, if you watch the trailers and stuff, it is animated gorgeously. It honestly could just fit right in with, some sort of Disney project. It caught my attention right away for the look, but, the story I'm very, very interested in, because it does, I just really like political intrigue stuff, and this being tinged with a tiny bit of horror and some other stuff too. Yeah, it's just really firing on all cylinders for me as far as that stuff goes. Plus, the idea of a point and click that does have combat put into it is novel to me. So I was just like, yeah, I've got to try this out and see what it's like. And yeah, it was really interesting. I wish the demo had been longer because I feel like I didn't really get to do like as much as I would like to and like really see what the crux of this story is going to be. But it gave me enough of a taste to be like, yeah, I want to play more of this.
Yeah, that looks really cool. I don't know that I'll play it myself, but I bet that Callie would be into it. So I will convince her to so I can watch.
There you go.
Game over.
Well, hey, if you had a good time listening to this episode, stick around for the bumper to learn how you can help support the show and all the things we do here at Sloth Creative. You can also check the show notes for our link tree, which will take you to our social media, Discord, merch store, and tons of other cool stuff. But get in touch with us and let us know what indie games you're playing and help us elevate these games so we can help support indie game devs. That's game over for us. My name's Chris.
I'm Joseph.
And we'll continue on the next episode.
Continue.
Indie Game Arcade is recorded and produced by Sloth Creative. If you're looking for more gaming content, head over to youtube.com/nerdsloth for indie game let's plays and recommendations. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/nerdsloth, where you can select a pledge and receive access to hundreds of hours of bonus content from everything at Sloth Creative. If you're an indie game developer and would like us to review your game or explore other opportunities, send an email to nerdslothcreative@gmail.com with the subject line Indie Game Arcade. Thanks for listening, and keep supporting indie game devs.